put on a really good show. It is happening tonight. The storm has passed, so it should be a good time. Come on out. Thursday, the 23rd, we continue with our summer concert series. Again, that is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Aaron Besson Park. The band is John Papa Gross, which is NOLA Funk and R&B. On Saturday, August 1st, there's the summer Splash and Dash at Frank Brown Park. I assume that's at the Aquatic Center. On Tuesday, August 4th, there is the budget workshop here. So if you want to see how we intend to spend money or influence how we intend to spend money next year, come here at 9 a.m. and pack a snack, because those are long ones. And then Tuesday, August 11th, that is Tuesday instead of the normal Thursday, August 11th. We do this every year in August for this meeting. We will have our next city council meeting at 9 a.m. Again, that is Tuesday, August 11th, instead of the normal Thursday time. And that is it for the community announcement. We now move on to the approval of the meeting minutes.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now we move on to the approval of the agenda and additions or deletions. I'm going to suggest to the council that we move up regular agenda item number 5 to number 1, so that is the Low Water Lake resolution. I notice we have a number of members in the audience who are interested in that resolution, so let's just put it at the top. It's my recommendation.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve as amended and a second. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to presentations. Take it away, Councilman Register.
Morning. Can I get Detective Hatley up front, please? Don't get to stand in the back and accept the award. Mayor, the City Council, and staff of the City of Panama City Beach extend the sincerest appreciation to Kendall Hatley for dedicated service and commitment to the City of Panama City Beach for 5 years. Congratulations. Chief, you want to say anything? Don't run off, man. He always has something to say. So.
Hold on, big guy. You know, the 5 years is a big mark for law enforcement, right? Within that first, 2 to 3 years, people really realize that this is the type of profession they want to stick in. So to make it to 5 years is the first big milestone in a person's long career, which I know Detective Hatley is going to have. He's currently a felony investigator in our felony division, handles all type of major cases. Hopefully you never have to talk to him in an official capacity, but he is the nicest guy you will ever meet. He's a member of the Marshals Fugitive Task Force, so he goes out there and hunts the worst of the worst. And we are very, very grateful to have him as a member of our family. Detective, you're doing a great job, and keep it up.
Now, if I could have Lieutenant Christopher Boyer come join us up here. The Mayor, the City Council, and staff of the City of Panama City Beach extend the sincerest appreciation to Christopher Boyer for dedicated service and commitment to the City of Panama City Beach for 20 years. Big commitment. Thank you, sir.
Chris always talks. He will.
At the, we have one officer beginning his career in the early stages. We have another officer reaching a milestone of 20 years that I would say less than 10% of all police officers in the history of law enforcement ever reach a 20-year career. So that is a huge, huge accomplishment. The lieutenant here is taking up a new assignment as a second in command of our detective unit. So he's Detective Hatley's supervisor, and he's responsible to ensuring that the worst of the worst go to jail. He does a great job. He's very committed. I've known Chris for a long time. He's a Navy guy. I won't hold that against him. But he's a very committed law enforcement officer and a very committed family man. So, Lieutenant, congratulations. And I think the city manager gave you an order to say something. So.
Well, thank you to the chief, the administration, to the city council for all the support over the years. We definitely appreciate that. The biggest thank you, I think, is to the guys and girls out there in the trenches that are putting their lives on the line every day to make sure that we get to do our jobs and support them. So thank you to everybody for coming out. Appreciate it.
All right, now we move on to public comment on the consent agenda and non-agenda business. That is public comment on, oh, I'm sorry. I missed Mr. Adair. How could we miss Mr. Adair? He's got a presentation.
Thought he got away with it.
Oh, I thought he got away with it. I don't think Mr. Adair could fit more bullet points on some of these slides, so.
So, John Adair, Public Works. I apologize in advance. It's a lot to go through. I already clicked. It's a lot to go through. I wanted to do my team justice because we're responsible for a lot, and I'm just so very proud of them, and I just wanted to make sure. So I'm going to go really, really fast to try to get this, get through as much as possible. The first thing up, the council knows how Public Works is set up. But for the public and people watching at home, they may not know how the divisions in Public Works. This is just a quick bullet slide showing the three different divisions of Public Works: engineering, CRA, operations, and maintenance. And another huge part of Public Works that many are not aware of, emergency management. I'll touch on it very briefly, but I'm not going to go into every one of these things, but I'll try to touch on them as we go through. Emergency management, for the public, a lot that don't know, that Public Works is typically the first ones through to clear and open the roads and make things, during an emergency situation, hurricanes, so on and so forth. Fire, EMS, police, nobody can get to anywhere without without Public Works opening up the roads. So, luckily, knock on wood, we have the only emergency management situation that we've had was back early in 2025 with the snowstorm. I would have not thought that coming from Colorado, but we had one, and so it was very mild for us. We just had to close some roads and work with the state on getting salt and trying to make sure that the shadows from the condos were not icing over. Mel did a great job on development orders and building permits and things like that, so I won't go into too much detail. I just wanted to let you guys know that we're a large part of that effort as well. We review a bulk of those as well.
And John, just on those, that is, I think you're going to highlight it, that's floodplain and stormwater as well as sufficient utilities, or is that utilities department? Sufficient utilities, or is that the utility department? Utilities
looks at the water and wastewater side of things and the reuse side of things, and we look at stormwater and sidewalks, all those kind of things. One I just want to highlight, and I know we had the first reading on it, it's been a big effort of ours on right-of-way permits and updating the ordinance on that. Once we get a little bit further in presentation, I'll kind of explain why that's such a big push of ours, is to try to protect our roads and our right-of-ways. And like for having moratoriums on newly paved roads, think segment 3, we just paved it. We don't want a bunch of utilities coming and cutting the road up and stuff like that. So that's a big push for us, and we're trying to see that one to the finish line. A huge part of Public Works is managing our MS4. So for those not aware, if you have a Home Depot or a Lowe's or anything, they have a stormwater system. Well, the city has a stormwater system, and we manage the stormwater system for the entire city. One big change that came about recently was back in 24. The governor signed a new requirements and a Bill 704 that put a lot new requirements on MS4s and mandates that we have to do that were not previously envisioned. Asset inventory, we'll get into that a little bit. That's a huge one, but there's also inspection and reporting requirements. This is another one I'm proud of my team. We actually got our permit ridiculously fast. I've actually been a part of many cities and municipalities, and I've never seen us get a permit that quickly as part of the new storm. I've seen those take 2, 3, 4 years before. I was thankful, but now we're also now held to the new permit criteria. So, and part of that is the NPDES, which is managing all the, discharge, illicit discharge into the stormwater system and trying to protect our water resources. And then another huge part that we're working with planning and the building department on is making sure we maintain our community rating system. That renewal is in progress. A lot of efforts that have gone in on behind the scenes, like updating the stormwater master plan. Those that will help get us some points, all of the logging and statistics and stuff that we're going to get into also helps us with that effort. I can spend probably an hour on just this slide alone, so I will go super fast. So we do a lot of capital improvement projects. Back in the past year or so, we've completed 21 total. Couple notable ones that you're aware of: Alf Coleman Road, Front Beach Road Segment 3. We finally put that one to bed. Nautilus Sidewalk, I'm really proud of that one, and I'll explain why here in a moment. Richard Jackson Phase 2. Forenzo is substantially complete. It should be open by the end of the month. And the PCI study, which I'll talk about here and how important that has been. And part of our effort is we also assist in capital projects for other departments, with helping build in the fire stations, training tower, and we also help Parks Department build the skate park.
And let me just jump in on the Forenzo parking lot. That's the new parking lot in the back there. If you've ever been to City Hall complex, as I know you all in the audience just came, knows how few parking spots we have available for the public here. There's a lot of city resources that park there. That's for the city resources to go in so that the City Hall complex can have more parking for the public.
Yep. Yeah, we're really excited. That should open here hopefully within a week or so. As far as we range anywhere between 40 to 50 active projects or more at a time. As we knock them off, we get new ones in. I want to highlight a couple ones that you guys will see come in here shortly. Our resurfacing program is going to start picking up in full force. You're going to see that soon. And I'll touch on that was led into by the PCI study, which helped identify which roadways needed to be resurfaced. One of the things I'm really proud of is that we are doing our engineering technical manual in-house. If you've ever been a part of that effort, or you know that that's a substantial effort. I mean, that is probably $200,000-300,000 grand or more of if it was to be consulted out that we're trying to do in-house. And to kind of give a brief snapshot is like if a resident wanted to build a new home, what is the standard driveway? What does it look like? If you do a roadway cut, what does the roadway cut repair look like? If you are doing an intersection, if you drive around the city, you'll see that there's a little bit of mixed match of different intersections, what the stop bars look like, the striping, all of that kind of stuff. We're going to standardize all that and have that ready for developers or any new resident that comes into the city. Couple big projects that Public Works Safe Room is later this morning. Lowwater Lake, again, another one later this morning. Rainy Road should be coming for the council here probably in August. And then we talked about the stormwater management master plan that's actively ongoing.
And those Randy Road drainage improvements, I mean, that road, whenever it rains hard, it really floods. It's really
Yes,
nasty
sir.
up there.
Yeah, that's a great project. We actually just had the bid opening on that. I think we're still in the cone of silence still, but we should be presenting that to you in August. So.
John, you skipped over Clarence Street reconstruction. Where are we at with that? I've been getting some calls. They've started like gangbusters, and it just stopped, and it's been stopped for a couple of months now.
So we ran into some utility conflicts that that are on our critical path that we're trying to orchestrate and try to get into place. But we are still well ahead of schedule. I believe the construction is supposed to end the first part of next year as part of their contract, but we're hoping to finish up. I don't just knock on wood on October November timeframe. So we're well ahead of schedule. You're right. We did go full steam ahead, but we're still ahead of schedule on that one.
Very good, thank you.
Couple other ones, again, helping with other departments. The K-9 facility, that was in the last council meeting. We're starting construction on that one. Pickleball courts, that was in, I believe, in the last meeting before. We're going to be starting on that one. And yeah, so we got a lot. Like I said, I could talk about this one for a long time. I want to talk about some fun new things that we're working on, which is pretty cool. With the PCI study, so pavement condition analysis isn't new to the city. They've done that in the past. But what we did this time is we kind of, leveraged new technology. And so while they were doing the PCI study, we picked up every above ground asset in the city. And you can kind of see the fruits of that labor here. The PCI study identified, the road. So I now know where every crack is in every road in the city, which is great. And so that's very helpful for strategic to pick out which roads to resurface, which to repair. But also you can see we also got all the sidewalks. So you can see where there's gaps in the sidewalks where we can help target and try to fill in the gaps, to help pedestrian mobility. Under probably thought about one would be the signs. We have every single sign in the entire city, which is not just great for maintenance because then we know when it went in, when we can start tracking that. And but also, let's say in the event of a hurricane comes in and wipes out every sign from insurance purposes, we now know how many signs we had and we could also replace them right where they were. So a lot of like the resurfacing project here, that you can kind of see a little preview of the one we're working on is on low water. It's going to, as the fiscal year 26 resurfacing project, we're doing that design in-house. One of the things that we're also doing, we've picked up as a new initiative, is in-house field surveys. We picked up some equipment that, while not survey grade, if we were to spend a lot more money, there's all kinds of survey gadgets, but we have enough to make it accurate, for the purposes that we're trying to do. And what's neat about that is you can go out to any road, and if you pick up the survey, it's a one-man crew that can go out and pick up the shots, and they put in the codes. When they come back into the office, it'll draw the whole road for them in CAD so that you can kind of see an idea of what that spits out. So because we're harnessing the DOT's software, all of the line types, layers, everything comes into DOT standards. And so we're starting the project right off. And it also helps cut down on CAD time, because previously when you pick up survey points, you'd have to connect the dots for every single one. But now it'll just draw it, and it'll draw it in 3 dimensions. One thing I'm very proud of my team for is we are now FDOT LAP certified agency-wide until June of 2028, which for those that don't know, previously we had to get DOT certified for each project that we did. And so we'd have to apply, they would look at us and they say, okay, you guys can handle this project, go do it. Now we're certified on every project, for the next 2 years.
Hey,
Oh, no, you're good, thank you.
And a lot of these things, you're really in the details, which is great. A lot of these things that John has been working on helps him get projects done more quickly. Having assets available, bringing them into CAD, getting lab certified, that helps them turn around. And I think you have some stats later on, so
Yes,
really
absolutely.
looking forward to highlighting those stats. You've done a great job with the department, but that's for all for the folks in the audience and watching. This is John and his team working to get projects turned around quickly.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's a perfect example of it. Instead of having to get a project, try to get the funds from DOT, then apply, and then, it just cuts down that entire process. Since now we're certified in design management and CEI. And I want to highlight our first CEI project that we did in-house. We actually received perfect scores in every single category from the department on that. I was really proud of our team for that. This is another one that you all know I'm very, very excited about, very, very proud of. Thank you for approving this program to go forward. It started right the very first day of the fiscal year. We had a shovel in the ground. We started going. So far, we've resolved or completed 11 projects so far this year. There's 7 in active design. I could spend a ton of time on this program. I'm very proud of it. Just to highlight one on Eagle Drive, By doing the design, CEI, construction, everything in-house, we saved the city and the taxpayers about $110,000 on that one. And that's including if we were to charge FEMA labor rates on equipment and things like that. So that's an apples to apples comparison. And you can kind of see an idea. It actually rained on us while we were out there, so you can kind of see it was, you can see how bad of a problem it really was. And then I actually took that photo, the photo underneath the sign in the rain, and you could see it was dry as a bone. So that one's working. For the public out there, if you see this, this is not working too great. If you, on the top right corner, if you see that sign in your neighborhood, just know that that's what this program is and that we're in your neighborhood trying to make improvements. If you were to go out to Fairway Boulevard right now, we're doing one there. We have a
Can
one.
you just, sorry to interrupt, John.
No, you're fine.
Can you just speak to what the program is?
So the program is twofold with the community, local, and also emergency too. But it is, so a lot of these capital projects take years, for design, permit, planning, and then implementation, all this stuff like that. However, this program is intended to spot target fixable, on the smaller side of things where it's maybe just a couple inlets or, pipes or opening up a swale or something that is in a neighborhood that's been, an ongoing problem, but we can spot target and fix that directly with doing all the design in-house, the bulk of the construction in-house to just try to rapidly respond to these issues.
Yeah, so small targeted neighborhood projects.
Neighborhood
that
projects.
Instead of waiting for things to get really bad, like a Randy Road or an Eagle Drive,
Right.
let's try and get ahead of some of this maintenance if we can do it in-house.
Absolutely. And some of those projects are major projects, and they do require that. Randy Road being a good example. It's a major project, requires a major capital project. But there are ones that we've identified that can be fixed and can be fixed fast, and that's what we're trying to do with that program. Another part of that program is actually emergency response. I can give you an example. So this is the box culvert in front of Sea Chase over there on Front Beach Road. We were made aware of, an issue with that box culvert. We were able to go out that day, and because this council approved the MSAs specifically for the structural engineer, we got him on the phone. He showed up that day, made a structural analysis of the box culvert, said it's not critical. However, they identified there could be a potential void above because it was sucking sand. So we got another MSA with our geotech to have ground penetrating radar to come in and identify. We found the void. It was about 11-foot diameter void underneath the road. And so when we found the void, our crews went out at 3 a.m. and went out and filled the void. And so between the time we identified the project and the time the project or the emergency solution was in place was less than a week. And so we were able to turn around really, really fast. And I'm really proud of our guys. That's them there at 3 a.m. And so all of that, here's the team that does it. I like to say we're small but fierce. A lot of this gets done. I'm very, very proud of this group. Everybody's probably familiar with Kathy. She's the rock of our department. Marsha is our business manager. I like to call her the heart and soul of our department. She keeps the whole machine running. We have our engineers, Marcy, who is brilliant. You're going to be hearing a lot more of her coming forward. Christina is our new hire, and she hit the ground running. She's actually a big part of the GIS program and all that stuff that's going on. So she was a major catalyst to that. Emma, we're really proud of her. She's our intern from Gulf Coast, Florida State. She's been with us about a year, and she's brilliant as well. And our inspectors. Joseph and Jacob is not shown here. He's out of the office. But Joe also in the back. And then we also have one admin, that's Isaac. And then we share an admin with utilities, and that's Brian. Okay, CRA. I could talk an hour about this alone. I'm not going to, I promise. Just highlights, because I know everybody's curious or aware. Front Beach segment 4.1 is imminent, I would say. We're really, really close. I would say we're probably wrapping up the specs. We're just dotting the I's, crossing the T's to make sure that it goes out properly. But I would say it's imminent. We're hoping to have that done this week, and we're already scheduling the release and then all of the dates and everything like that. So that's the plan on that. 4.2, 4.3, 28 and 30. So we have those coming. couple of fun ones that are coming up to make immediate impacts are Cobb Road and Clara resurfacing and sidewalks. And then the segment 5 box culverts leaning back onto that issue, because that box culvert still needs to be replaced. We put it to make sure the road wasn't going to fall in, but we do need to fix that permanently. If I can make one request to the public and to the council to pass along to everybody in your wards, please, please, please use SeeClickFix. It is what we use and is what we grade ourselves by. It's on our website. It's in the bottom right corner. Report an issue. Please use this. We look at this every day. We track this every day. And so, one thing that we're working on is working with the IT department to update the report categories. Sometimes they're a little bit confusing and things like that. We've already got that in beta testing right now, and that should be live soon.
Yeah, I want to just touch on that one more time. SeeClickFix, you can also have an app on your phone. If you see there's a light out, if you see a pothole, that goes directly to the department, to the relevant department. It also works in Bay County, so if you don't know if you're in the city or not, Bay County will pick theirs up, and they turn those around very quickly if at all possible. So I highly recommend. Sometimes, and we're happy to receive those calls. People call us for potholes. Honestly, I'll let Drew know, but I also put it in SeeClickFix, right? So SeeClickFix is going to really help them fix these problems you see out there day to day much more quickly. Highly recommend it. You can track the progress of the repair as well. So you can see when there's an issue that a crew's been deployed, they've acknowledged it, and then what the resolution is. So highly recommend SeeClickFix. It'll help us all be a lot more efficient and get the problems you see solved more quickly.
Absolutely, yeah, well said. That's exactly right, and that's our primary target to identify. Also, we have our inspectors, we have our team that goes out, and we put in, just so you know, even Public Works ourselves, we put in tickets for our stuff. So everything is tracked through this. Here's to give you an idea. So I'm really big engineer, nerdy guy. Really big on metrics and analytics and stats. But that's how we grade ourselves. And we talked about the roadway right-of-way repairs. You can see in 2025 alone, that was 183 times we had to go out and repair a broken utility line. The roadway is part of that. The one thing I want to kind of really stress is, our days to close. We're ramping, I like to say. And it's going to hover around a week. That's because the way we do it is we get all the tickets, and then we unless it's a really, really bad one, we'll go fix it right. But we try to aggregate, and we'll go fix 10, 12 in one day. And so we try to do weekly, at least once or twice a week, to go and repair. And it just depends on how many we have. But you can see we're doing 300% more, but we're also doing it almost 90% faster. Again, a couple other ones I want to highlight. Street signs missing, damaged, so we take that very seriously. For regulatory signs, especially stop signs, are of critical importance to us. You can see we try to turn those around within a day or so to try to get those back and running. Same thing with sidewalks. If sidewalks are out or if they're broken, we try to repair those as soon as possible. Another big one is line of sight. You can kind of see we were 500% more on trying to clean up intersections to really, because it's a big part of being at an intersection, being able to see which way traffic is coming. We try to respond to those as quick as possible. Same thing with, not respective of the utility repairs, we still had potholes and patchworks or other repairs. You could see we're hovering around, a week or so to get those. And I'm already looking at the 26 stats, and we're actually higher in almost every category. So we're still ramping on this one. Here's some of our equipment. I'm really proud of it. The VACCON is the newest one that we've got. It's delivered. It's already in operation. It is one of the most useful pieces of equipment that we have. Everybody's aware of the bulk waste. Oh, I didn't even talk about that. Bulk waste, you can see previously it was a ticket system that where, they put in the ticket, we go pick it up, right? And you could see how many we did. However, we've optimized that by doing that twice a year. So twice a year, 1 week we handle the east side, 1 week we handle the west side, and we go around, we pick them all up at once. It cut down on the day-to-day traffic of, doing that, and then we can efficiently grab them all at one time. And so, yeah, so picking up all the lawn debris. This is our new crack seal program. We're all trained up. We're ready to go. That's more of a kind of a wintertime project. So you're going to see that go. Right now we're in the mowing and cutting and trimming season. But come the winter with the PCI study showing all the cracks, we know where to target and start doing that. Some different applications for crack sealing and resurfacing. One of the really things is really neat. You guys believed us on. Well, I'm very thankful. Is the boat, and you can see that we put it in use. We cleaned up the ponds over there at Frank Brown. We cleaned up the pond at McDonald's. You can kind of see what it looked like before. Believe it or not, there is a lake back there, and now you can see it. It's right there. And so we've also cleaned up the Churchwell Pond. We're heavily using that boat. It's been a great tool for us. Another one I'm incredibly proud of is the fleet department. Again, I'm big on metrics and analytics. So what I'm really, really proud of is the fact that about 65% of the tickets that go into fleet are returned within either the same day or within 1 day. So the bulk of them are turned around and pop back out really quickly. Again, looking into this, you can kind of see if you look at the outsource, because there's a lot of stuff that we just can't do in-house, so we have to outsource some of our bigger commercial equipment. Some of the warranty repairs, things like that, have to be sent back and you can kind of see almost a direct correlation between that and the amount of time that spends more than a week or 30 days out. So that's, when I look into the numbers, that's usually the target for that. But I'm very, very proud of this team. 87% again done in-house. We're supposed to have 3 in fleet, but we've been without one for quite a while. So the bulk of these stats have been done with just two mechanics. And yeah, here, meet our operations and maintenance team. Field operation manager is Kevin Colvin. He's the guy that makes all that magic with the stats and streets and stormwater and everything happen, along with the supervisor, Scott Simmons and John Smith. Just to give you an idea of how many folks we have 8 in stormwater, currently 12 in streets and 4 in the CRA. So that's the team.
All right, you guys do a great job, and thanks, you guys. You've really, that department was working really hard before, and you really supercharged them. So congratulations, John. Congratulations to your team.
Yeah, I'm very proud of them.
And it's nice to see the stats to show that out.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, John.
Great work, John.
All right, now we move on to public comment on the consent agenda and non-agenda business. If you have public comment on the consent agenda or non-agenda business, please come up, state your name, address myself or the council as a whole, and you will have 3 minutes. If you're commenting on something that's on the normal agenda, you will have public comment time for something on at that agenda item. Okay, so this is just for either the consent agenda or non-agenda business. All right, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Alfie Martin, 13407 Oleander Drive. I'm sorry about my voice, but 35 days of the World Cup took a toll. First of all, I tell you, I love all of you. I understand that you're trying to do the best job. I thank you, everyone. So please, nobody takes it personal. We have a problem here. It was a great presentation for Public Works. I had a conversation with John a few days ago, but there are things that are not resolved and they are not addressed. First of all, I know there are 37 crossings being refinished, but we have a problem. I'm going to talk about a specific area because I cannot talk about the whole city, but it goes to the whole city. From Beach Road, from Clara to Lantana, you have beach access 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. You have people crossing every day. I doubt, Mr. John told me that he couldn't go, of course, during the peak hours, and I understand, but you cannot have beach access and expect people to cross the street without the danger. It's not me that I'm crossing. I live on the beach. I care less, but I do care. You have children. You have to have some temporary crossings on those beach access or some of those beach accesses. Because let me tell you what's going to happen here. I have 1 more minute. One day is going to be an accident, and you're going to be in national TV. And I love you all. But they're going to come to me, my friends, and ask me, what happened? Well, what happened is nobody listened. Please, you need to do some markings. Second, Oleander Drive, we have a problem with the parking. The signs are old, need to be replaced immediately. Second, on Oleander Drive, used to be a time that you couldn't park on each side. Now the police tells me that they can park on the south side of Oleander Drive. So I don't know if something changed, Drew. I need to know that because they park on the south side. Now, on the north side is an embankment right on Oleander. I clean it, I get the garbage, I cut the trees, I put seeds, I level the dirt, and people still park there because there is no protection for the embankment. That embankment is not for beauty. That embankment is to protect us from hurricanes. Last thing, fireworks. 4th of July, 15 fires, some in front of my house. Last night, we have fireworks in Bahama Beach. Dogs. VRBO has a promotion on VRBO showing dogs. Last one, arts, please. Do your job. Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Town halls.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Further public comment on the consent agenda or non-agenda business? Any further public comment on the consent agenda or non-agenda business?
Thank you. I'm Linda Gerstner from 305 Benicia. I got a couple concerns as he just spoke about the fireworks. If there's any way to get fireworks stopped from the public setting fireworks off on the beach, would be a great idea. I live on the west end, and we had fires up there too that were really bad. A lot more fireworks this year than last year and the previous years. People are getting bigger and bigger and more dangerous. Just, if there's any way to enforce that, would be great. The other thing would be the concert series. I love to go to them. I've noticed this year that we don't have as many attendees as we have in the past, and I think it's weather related. If there's any way that we can move it either earlier in the year or later in the year, I think you'd have a better turnout, and I think people would enjoy it much, much more. The other thing is safety as far as golf carts go. I am going up and down Front Beach Road a lot, and I see a lot of golf carts that are not legal. I see a lot of people get on those golf carts that have no tags, no safety signs. They don't even have seat belts. I've seen a family that's holding on to 3 and 4 kids so they don't fall out of the cart, and they're going up and down Front Beach Road. We've got to stop this. I don't ever see, and this is just timing situation, but I don't ever see a police officer pulling them over and saying, you can't do this. And a lot of them are privately owned, and a lot of them are, and several of them are rentals. We need to get a hold of that. There's already been accidents that have been really bad. The other thing I have is Laguna Beach septic to sewer project. I'm curious why the agenda was rescheduled from the 11th to the 27th, and if that is going to affect the contract that we have as far as the scheduling go. What streets first, second, and third? I've got residents asking about that. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Gerstner. Further public comment on the consent agenda or non-agenda business?
Hi, good morning. I'm Colleen Chapman. I am the owner of Outlaw Rentals. We rent LSVs. We do not rent out golf carts. Golf carts, unfortunately, there's probably a good 200 that are not licensed, not tagged. I saw a 5-year-old that was driving one in our neighborhood yesterday. So you do have a problem with that. They are all over the place. I have noticed your biggest problem is going to be in Bidawee. I went and I took pictures of all the ones that don't have tags. I have pictures of Nautilus that is renting out golf carts with their properties. They actually have for sale or for rent signs outside the property, and it comes with a golf cart. The problem is that golf carts are everywhere now, which is not a problem, and that we've been in the rental business. This is our 41 year of being in business. We own California Cycles and Outlaw Rentals. Unfortunately, you have 21 new competitors that are on the outskirts of the city. There's nothing you can do about that. But the problem is you can do something about the ones that have no tags, they're not street legal, and they're out everywhere. They don't obey the laws. They are riding on sidewalks because they're not supposed to be on the road, and they can't go as fast. I see them on Back Beach. I see them, they're on Middle Beach Road, and they're setting a precedence for other LSVs to do the same thing. We've taken quite a few of ours off the road because they're out doing the same thing as non-licensed ones. So we are battling it, but we do have a big problem inside our city of people renting out golf carts that are not registered. So that might be something that you guys might want to look at. But them holding their children in their arms, we come across them all the time, and it's bad. We really had to hone in on our customers and letting them know that they cannot have children in their arms. And we do it at the front of our counter. We do it when we're outside. It is a lot, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to obey the rules. But if they don't, we get a tag number, we take them off. I ask anybody in the city, if you have a problem with any of our golf carts, our phone number is listed. It goes directly to my cell phone. You can call me and I will take them off. If you cannot get a hold of us, send a text message. I will respond and I will get them off the vehicle. I thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Further comment, public comment on the consent agenda or non-agenda business? Any further public comment? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Whitman, all right. Can you address a few of those?
I'll address the fireworks first because two people brought that up. The city has no control of fireworks from the public on July 4th, December 31st, or January 1st. The governor has preempted the city from enforcing that on those 3 days of celebration. So if it's any of those days besides those 3, call the police. We'll put a stop to it because it's illegal the other days, the remainder calendar days. In reference to Alfie's comment about a crosswalk, we did a study on crosswalks, and you guys approved that. There's not one warranted in that area at this time. So that's why we can't just install crosswalks at those 5 locations to slow down traffic on Front Beach Road. We already talked about fireworks. As far as the signs down there, I'll look at that, and no one's allowed to park on that road, north or south. If they're in the driveway, we don't do anything about it, or if there's a couple pull-offs by our beach access, if it's golf carts and they're not affecting the traveler lane, we leave those alone. But I'll get up with the chief of police on the enforcement of that and the street department about getting new signs down there for the no parking on the north side. Linda's comments were also about fireworks, address that. The concerts, you guys always elected to do the concert in the summertime when we had the families that could go there when their kids are out of school. You would have to make that decision if you want to adjust those dates. The golf carts, law enforcement does do the best they can on that. Some of the areas she's talking about is in the county. We only enforce from DeLuna to the east end by Walmart. I know our law enforcement does a good job inside of our city limits. There's some confusion on golf carts and low-speed vehicles. We are a golf cart community, a friendly community. If you're in a neighborhood, you can drive your golf cart through the city streets. They don't have to be tagged. You do have to have a license to operate it, but if you have a low-speed vehicle, that is a vehicle that is insured and has a tag on it, they can travel on Front Beach Road. A golf cart cannot travel on Front Beach Road, and if you go to our city ordinance or the Muni Code, you can see the streets that you're not allowed to drive a golf cart on. But a low-speed vehicle can operate on any any road that's under 35 miles an hour. So I know law enforcement is doing a good job on that as well. The septic to sewer she brought up, I moved that because we're in the middle of budget workshops. We have a early meeting because we're going to the League of Cities. So I moved that from the August 11th to the later August. That's just, we're trying to get more information of how we can offer them a way to help them pay for their hookup to the septic to sewage. Cole's working on different options that we can offer the community out there. So I'm the one that pushed that one meeting. It's got nothing to do with the deadline or the calendar dates for the project. And I already addressed the issues that Colleen was having with the golf carts.
On the short-term rentals that are offering golf carts with the rentals, what's the progress at looking into that?
Low-speed vehicles that cannot rent with their property, I'd have to look how we worded it for the golf cart community for golf carts being rented with the property, but a low-speed vehicle cannot be rented with the rental property.
Okay.
So I'd have to look at golf carts itself. I haven't looked at that statute in a while.
Okay. Mr. Davis?
Yes, so we don't regulate the provision of a golf cart, whether it's a rental or whether it's their house, I mean, because we just simply don't regulate the rental of golf carts. Because they're prohibited from being on so many streets, it's not been something the council has addressed. We can address it if you like, but we only regulate LSV rentals.
Okay.
We have sections of Back Beach Road that are 35 miles an hour now because due to the construction. Is that a misconception? Is that why we're seeing more golf carts on Back Beach Road right now?
A lot of the reason you're seeing the low-speed vehicles on Back Beach Road is they're following their Google Maps or the Waze, and they think they can do it.
Okay.
I try to work with the state to try to get the speed limit moved up to 40 miles an hour in those areas, so we don't have any low-speed vehicles out there. If you're inside the city limits, when you approach Back Beach Road or the Panama City Beach Parkway, you'll see signs that say no low-speed vehicles. We do our best, but during construction, they fluctuate the speed limit for the safety of the construction workers. But no one's allowed to be on Back Beach Road with a golf cart or a low-speed vehicle.
Even if it's 35?
There are little sections, if they're in that little section, there's nothing we can do by law, but I try to work with the state to move that speed limit back up to 40 after it's safe for the contractors.
Okay. Any,
It's a scary thing.
It is.
And on Middle Beach Road as well. We're seeing a lot of them on Middle Beach
Yeah.
Road.
The Middle Beach is still 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
for much of the city, Middle Beach is the highest speed limit, honestly.
Definitely go the fastest.
All right, thank you, Mr. Davis, Mr. Whitman. We now move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Fazzoni, would you please read the consent agenda?
Resolution 26-136, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of one 2026 Butler LT 2020W tilt bed trailer for the Utilities Department from Global Rental Company, Inc., and the total amount of $34,194, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Sourcewell contract governing that purchase. Resolution 26-137, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of two 6-inch Atlas Copco bypass pumps for the Utilities Department from Thompson Tractor, Inc., and the total amount of $133,903, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Sourcewell contract governing that purchase. Resolution 26-138, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a pre-litigation business damage claim counteroffer to Captain Jack's Family Buffet in the total amount of $60,000. Resolution 26-139, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a professional services agreement with Florida Economic Advisors, LLC, for eminent domain business damages consulting services relating or related to capital improvements within the Front Beach Road Community Redevelopment Area, and authorizing expenditures under the agreement in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for the remainder of fiscal year 2026. Resolution 26-140, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a task order with HR Green, Inc. for the construction inspection services related to utilities relocation for Segment 4 of the Panama City Beach Parkway widening project, and the total amount of $381,640. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Fazzoni. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn,
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to the regular agenda as amended. Speaking of amendments, we moved regular agenda item 1 to first, so that I'm going to call that special item number 1. So regular agenda item number 1 is, or special item number 1 is Resolution 26142. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, making findings concerning the city's historic continuous maintenance of Lowwater Lake and the interconnected lakes of the Lowwater Lake Basin as components of the city's municipal stormwater management system, affirming the city's commitment to the continued operation, maintenance, and restoration of the basin, and authorizing the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to enter, inspect, and sample the project lands and waters for permitting purposes.
Okay. We will now accept public comment for this item. We'll accept public comment, and then we'll have a little explanation. But we like to do public comment first, so that if you have asking questions, we can get the explanation afterwards. Any public comment on Resolution 26-142?
Hi, Molly Allen, 16211 East Lowwater Drive. First, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all the hard work that the city has put into discovering this. I want to say thank you to Drew Whitman, Bill Davis. I want to say thank you to the council members who have moved to set this forth, to adopt this resolution to clean Lowwater Lake. I did submit to the city council some of my questions that I have, and I think they're just kind of general questions as the project will move forward, what I can expect as a resident of Lowwater Lake on and around my property line. I also have been in communication with the DEP in the past regarding the project specifications. And one of the questions I asked was, how long will this effect from the cleanup last? Excuse me. And it was said in that return document that the cleanup effect could last from 5 to 7 years, which is a pretty good long time. But my reason for standing here today is to encourage the council to move forward with looking to the future and how that maintenance will continue. Because we're talking about the maintenance now. How will that maintenance continue? Because as we know, with vegetation, things can grow quickly here in the state of Florida with the heat and humidity and the sunshine and all the rain and the water, and maybe even the depths of this lake, which are not super, super deep, that we could be looking at this again in 5 to 7 years. So first off, I want to say thank you. I'm grateful for the movement to clean the lake. Above all, I am one that will stand with the city to clean this lake. I don't want anyone to think that I'm here to oppose the lake being cleaned, because that's not the truth. But what I do want to see is, as we go forward, what will the city do for future maintenance past the 5 to 7 year mark? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Further public comment on Resolution 26142. Further public comment on Resolution 26142. Any further public comment? Okay. Oh, here we go. Just didn't see you moving before I. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I piggyback what she says.
Just name.
Name Linda Gerstner.
Thank you.
305 Benencia. Like I said, I piggyback on what Molly says. Well, you know, I'm not a resident of the Lowwater area, but I do stand behind of what you guys are doing. And again, I appreciate you, as she did. A couple questions that I had on this was, I don't understand where the Heron and Curran Inc. had anything to do with what you guys are doing. It didn't make sense to me when I read that. It was an HOA, so I guess I'm confused on that. The other thing I was concerned about is you guys have been doing this for 20 years, and I don't see much of an improvement in the water condition. And then asking that would be, has the city gotten a hold and collaborated with the residents on what they thought needed to be done, or what could be done, or how, if they could get help from the city to clean up their lake? I didn't see any of that either. And of course, 20 years ago, I wasn't here, but it's just a question.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gerstner. Further public comment on Resolution 26142? Yeah, come on. That's all right.
Morning, I'm Mary Lou Race, 16810 Castile Avenue. I did use Lowwater Lake in the past. We had a little boat, and we used to go down there and fish and just tootle around. But the boat launch was very dangerous. Is part of the plan to do something with the boat launch? And also, years ago, a council member told me, this was pre-COVID, that Lowwater Lake was going to be drained down and cleaned out, and it was going to be just like Deerwater Lake, or Deer Point Lake. Anyway, finally, we're going to get something done, and thank you very much for considering this, and keep it up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. Further public comment on Resolution 26142. Further public comment. All right, last call. All right, I don't see anyone moving. That's it for public comment. Mr. Davis, could you help us understand this resolution?
Certainly. As Ms. Allen indicated, so this has been going on for about 5 years at the direction of this council and prior councils. We have been working on finding solutions to clean the lake, to demuck the lake. The lake is an integral part of the city's stormwater system, and so we maintain it from a stormwater perspective. And so in 2022, we got awarded $6 million. That money was actually vetoed later on. In 2023, we were awarded $3 million. This project that this resolution relates to is to spend that $3 million to demuck the lake. I can't talk about the technical aspects of the project. I'd defer that to Mr. Adair. But what this resolution does is we've been working with the Department of Environmental Protection to get a permit to do that work. And this resolution is entirely created to show to the DEP that our historic maintenance for stormwater purposes, and to allow this work to continue and to get a permit for DEP so we can clean the lake. It is highly technical legally, but it is required by DEP to get the permit, and that's why we're here.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Adair, I know you may not have been prepared for this. Can we just set some expectations on what we're going to, should we pass this, what we'd be able to do? We're not going to demuck we can't use this, like, $3 million is not going to cover demucking the entire lake.
That's correct, yes. And to Mr. Davis's point about this is, with the demucking is to make the hydraulics between where it goes underneath the bridge, and it ties into the outfall which is part of that we just built for segment 3, is to make sure to open that up. And so that's where the primary source of the dredging is going to be, is to try to open up and create that hydraulic flow to keep the water moving. Because the area that drains to this lake is approximately 622 acres. So it is a big basin that ends up here and then eventually goes into Lowwater Lake. That's the basin it takes the western half of Pier Park. On the north side of 98, it takes 98 from Lowwater Drive all the way to Cambridge Boulevard. It also takes North Pier Park Commercial into it, the south part of Frank Brown Park at Aaron Besant, Lowwater. So it is a big basin. It's an integral part of our stormwater system. So we're just going to try to make sure that we clean it up try to target the funds that we have and get the best bang for our buck.
Yeah, try to get moving.
Yes, sir.
Right, so get some flow in that lake. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We did change that spillway to a gate system where we can, in the wintertime, lower the level of the lake like they do at Deer Point to help kill the invasive vegetation there. Is that correct?
That's correct. It has an operations and maintenance manual that was part of the approval that went through the Environmental Resource Permit Program. So we do have some flexibility with what we can do. Another primary function of it, in addition to options like that, is in the event of a hurricane coming, we can lower the lake down to create some surge protection. So we've tried to make some benefits for that gate.
But that project has been completed, so we can control the level of that lake. If we want to drop it today, we could start dropping it down.
We could. We just have to make sure it follows the parameters that are
But you would only do that during the coldest winter months like they do at Deer Point to help kill the invasive vegetation in the lake, probably.
I'd have to look.
Unless you had a hurricane or something coming, you might lower the level of the lake to try to keep the flooding from happening.
Correct, yeah, I'd have to look at the SOP just to make sure that we
But
follow it.
that wouldn't necessarily guarantee 100% that the flooding wouldn't happen, because that outfall pipe always gets stopped up during the storm. So then you got water trapped and you got 10 foot of surf on top of it.
Yes, sir. That's why we regularly, every week, inspect the outfalls, and sometimes multiple times a week. And we're out there, I'm sure you guys have seen us on the beach, digging, making sure that those are open, especially, as far as when storms are on the way or hurricanes are on the horizon. We try to keep those
right
open.
before the storm, but as soon as the storm gets here, it stopped right back
It could,
up.
correct. And so that's one of the advantages of lowering the lake. It provides, we can let the lake drain out to give that surge protection in the event that it does.
It gives you a
flood.
little bit of retain
Buffer.
there, getting
Yes,
it
sir.
lower before the big rain comes.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Further questions or comments for Mr. Adair? Okay, thank you, Mr. Adair. Any discussion on this resolution? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to what formerly was the regular agenda item number 1, ordinance number 1684. Mr. Davis.
An ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, amending the city's code of ordinances to include apartments within the city's vacation rental certificate requirement, creating section 8-184 related to delinquent vacation rental certificate renewal fees, administrative assessments and liens, providing for procedures for notice and administrative hearing procedures, and methods of collection, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, scrivener's errors, liberal interpretation, modifications, codification, and providing for an effective date.
Okay. Any public comments on ordinance 1684? Any public comments on ordinance 1684? Seeing none, Mr. Davis, could you help us understand this is our second reading for this?
Yes, sir. So as we detailed last time when you had the first reading, we have 2 issues that we're trying to solve here. Number 1, apartments operate somewhat of a loophole in the state's regulations of vacation rentals. We are including apartments to specifically be included in our registration requirements, so that way we make sure we capture those in our program. And then the other piece is creating a more efficient system for dealing with delinquent renewal fees. So every short-term rental under our program has to register with the city and provide some certain safety information in accordance with the ordinance. We've had some issues with some delinquent, registers and renewers, and so this creates a new system by which we can deal with those issues without the more cumbersome code enforcement process that we've been using.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Any questions? Any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to regular agenda item number 2, resolution 26141. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the adoption of revised planning and zoning fees and repealing all policies or resolutions in conflict herewith.
Any public comment on regular agenda item number 2, resolution 26141? Any public comment? Seeing none. Mr. Davis, you got this one?
I can handle it, yes, sir.
Okay.
So this is the sister to the ordinance that you just adopted, which is the new fee schedule for those renewal fees. So right now it's $150 to renew your vacation rental certificate. If you are late, there is a $25, essentially it's $175 if you are up to 30 days late. Past 30 days, it's $200. Past 60 days, it's $250, and past 90 days, it's $350. So it creates a sliding scale delinquent renewal fee instead of kind of the static fee that we had before.
Okay. Any discussion?
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Before we move on, Paul, how are you doing? You want to take a recess or you want to keep going?
I'm good.
Very good. All right, let's go on. Let's keep going. We're on regular agenda item number 3, ordinance 1687. Mr. Davis.
An ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, amending sections 1-07-02 and 2-03-00 of the city's land development code, adding data centers and large load customers as prohibited land uses, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, scrivener's errors, liberal interpretation, modifications, codification, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, any public comment on this item, regular agenda item number 3, ordinance 1687? Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Davis, help us understand this item.
Yes, sir. So in accordance with your direction a few meetings ago, we have gone ahead and drafted an ordinance making large-scale data centers prohibited uses as well as large load customers. Large-scale data centers being those that draw up over 5 megawatts of power across with their monthly peak load. Large load customers being any user that draws over 50 megawatts in their monthly peak load. And so I think this is drafted to match the county's current one-year moratorium on both of these items, and also consistent with the direction that you gave us during your meeting.
Okay. But this is not a moratorium. This
is not a moratorium. This is a permanent ban.
Okay. I have a question on the large load customers, or actually a discussion point for the council on the large load customers. I understand their inclusion, but I'll tell you, my concern for the data centers is they use a lot of power, they provide no jobs, they don't help residents. You know, we're a small city, right? We're a small, beachfront city. We don't need them in our city for those reasons. Large load customers, I could see other customers. I wouldn't want to, especially at the Commerce Park, stop future, things that are going to provide jobs or benefit residents from happening in that Commerce Park because we're doing this on data centers. So I'd suggest to the council that we remove the large load customer part of this and keep the data center part.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, from what I was looking at online, you could have a mid-sized data bank that can come in at 5 megawatts. So it wouldn't be, still be able to come in.
But if you use the term data center, does that, no matter the size of the load, does that include any size? Or what? I mean.
So, Councilmember Coburn is correct. So we have drawn the line for data centers because data center is an incredibly broad term. I mean, the server room in City Hall is probably a data center by definition. And so we didn't want to be overly inclusive and include everything that may capture things that you may not intend. And so the line that was drawn by Bay County was at 5 megawatts. And so we copied that to make sure we were consistent across the board. If you would like to debate where that line is for you, happy to have that conversation, but we figured that we would try to be consistent with Bay County.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately not up to speed enough to be able, I'd rather be consistent, I guess, with Bay County and that way we're consistent.
Yeah, I mean, 5 megawatts is
I see your point, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's two things here. I think perhaps Councilmember Coburn was talking about the line for data centers. The point I was intending to make was there's an overly broad, large load customers in general here. I would just maybe we can take one and then the other. Is there any opposition to removing large load customers? So this is just targeted at data centers.
As long as that would include all data centers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, the hospital complex could be a large load customer, and we certainly need a hospital, and we wouldn't want to stop that.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, the clarification makes sense.
Okay. So can we? You need a motion to remove that?
If you would like, so what I would probably do is have me reread the title.
Okay.
And then you can vote on that.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so in ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, amending sections 1.07.02 and 2.03.00 of the city's land development code, adding large-scale data centers as prohibited land uses, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, scrivener's errors, liberal interpretation, modifications, codification, and providing for an effective date. So that removes the large load customer piece of the title, and so we won't have to have 3 readings.
Okay.
If you pass it that way.
No.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do I need it as amended?
No, I just read the title.
Yeah, I just reread it again. So we're good there. So we'll have just a second reading. That was the first reading.
Okay. If we pass this now, are we going to be able to address Councilmember Colbert's concern about the level? Because we didn't have much discussion on that, the 5 megawatt level.
If you want to change that, I would do that before you vote.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. We're going to continue discussion. Is there any additional discussion on, now that it would be just targeted for data centers going below that 5 megawatt level? Do we want to drop it down, or do we want to just keep it consistent with the county? My preference, I mean, 5 megawatts is a lot. It really does depend on whether they're normal servers or if they are AI servers. The AI servers that do require a lot more energy. So it actually, conversely, it'll be less land impact. My preferences would be to just keep it with the county. I understand the council member's concern. I just don't know where the line would be drawn. We certainly don't want to preclude, should a tech business come here and want to have a few racks of servers, even if they're AI servers, right? We wouldn't want to preclude that. I think
Correct.
what we've all envisioned here is the kind of plop it down and it's for someone else somewhere else. You want to keep it at 5, or you want to try an adjustment there?
I'll stick with 5 if that's what the county's doing.
Yeah, we can stick with
Is
5.
there any type we can have review prior to approval of that, or would it just go before the planning commission and be automatically approved?
A data center smaller than 5 megawatts? It would just be handled by planning staff. It would not come to you. We could look at that as well if you wanted to, and maybe by another ordinance, we could make data centers in some other range conditional uses if you wanted to look at that.
Well, I think with any large new business that's coming in, we certainly need to look at that closely.
Well,
As far
Councilmember,
as land use, utilities, water, all of that.
Councilmember, if I can propose 2 ways to address the concern. One, this is first reading, so there could be some research done on that level between first and second reading. I don't think the 5 megawatt would change the title.
No, sir.
So this could be adjusted on second reading, or as the city attorney suggested, doing a conditional use for smaller data centers, and that, we'll have some time on that, so we could really kind of nail that one down. So this ordinance would put a cap on it, and then we could spend some time on that medium size.
Fair enough, as long as we take that next step.
Okay, well, I mean, you can put stuff on agendas. Stick it on an agenda.
I'll make sure of that.
All right. So any further discussion? We have a pending motion and a second for the amended title. Seeing no further discussion, Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Tedemar?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we now move on to ordinance 1686. Mr. Davis.
An ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, amending Section 22-05 and creating Section 22-6 of the city's code of ordinances to include definitions, regulations, and prohibitions related to micromobility devices, including electric bicycles, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, scrivener's errors, liberal interpretation, modifications, codification, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, any public comment on this item?
Yes. The problem are not the e-bikes.
Please say your name.
I'm sorry, Alfredo Martin, 13407 Oleander. The problem are not the e-bikes. The problem are not the bikes. The problem are the people that ride them and the enforcement. If you see an electric bike on a sidewalk or in a place that it should be, why are we not enforcing the laws? Ladies and gentlemen, I have news for you. Or either we start enforcing all the laws or don't enforce any law. Any bike, if you let them ride constantly in the wrong side of the street, at high speed, in the wrong place, and nobody stops them, is dangerous. So every time you pass a law, an ordinance, first we have to reinforce and we have to make sure that the laws are taken care. So the e-bikes, please, I know you're trying to do a great job, But always look at the genesis of things. If you don't correct the genesis, you're going to have a problem later. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin. Further public comment on ordinance 1686? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Davis, help us understand this ordinance.
Yes, sir. So, in accordance with your direction a couple of meetings ago, we have tried to, we've drafted an ordinance that addresses, puts certain restrictions and prohibitions on the operation of micromobility devices and e-bikes. And so, as you will recall, there are 3 different classes of e-bikes, and so you had a discussion about where those different classes should be able to operate. This ordinance prohibits any person to operate a Class 3 bicycle on any sidewalk in the city, prohibits any Class 1 or Class 2 bicycles on Front Beach Road where there is a multimodal lane, which is those large lanes in the completed sections of the CRA, and then prohibits any micromobility device. It puts a speed limit on micromobility devices at 10 miles an hour, and then prohibits operating any e-bike that's been modified to essentially not meet the e-bike definition anymore, where it can exceed the 20-mile-an-hour cap, 28-mile-an-hour cap.
Yep, and to be clear, it's the operation of a micromobility device on a sidewalk.
Oh, correct.
Would have the 10 mile per hour. Mr. Davis, thank you for writing this up. My only concern with this as you have written it is on Front Beach Road, the prohibitions, so that's page 4 of the ordinance. What's the section? Section 2A, prohibition number 2, which says no person shall operate a Class 1 or Class 2 electric bicycle on any sidewalk adjacent to Front Beach Road where a multimodal lane is open for public use along that portion of Front Beach Road. I know there was discussion at the council when we directed you to do this. I'll just tell the council for discussion, my preference is Class 2. Remember, Class 2 e-bikes are the throttle e-bikes. You don't have to pedal. I don't see why they should be operating on the sidewalk on Front Beach Road in general. If it's effectively a e-scooter, why are you on the sidewalk? You can go on the road. So I would make that modification. Just say, hey, Class 2's not allowed on sidewalks on Front Beach Road, right? And then I do have a partial concern about putting the phrase multimodal lane in an ordinance. We don't know what future councils may change the configurations of those lanes. They may not be multimodal anymore. So it's maybe, and if a future council does, then we'd have to go back and adjust this ordinance. I would just recommend kind of a width of a bike lane, a bike lane of certain width. Those would be my 2 recommended changes. 1, no Class 2 e-bikes on sidewalks on Front Beach Road, the throttle e-bikes. And then just 2, change it to 8-foot wide bike lane or something like that.
I don't see any speed limits in there. We talked about putting a speed limit in there.
So we have the micromobility, if they're on the sidewalk, their speed limit's 10 miles an hour. That's the only speed limit that we built in here.
Okay.
Councilman Casto, there are speed limits built into the definition of the e-bikes. Class 1, so that's the pedal assist, is 20 miles an hour. Class 2, that's the throttle, that's also 20 miles an hour. Class 3 is the 28. And then part of this ordinance was if you've modified it to go above those, you can't ride those at all.
If I'm a police officer and I see somebody on the sidewalk and they're not pedaling, that's more likely a Class 2, and it's not allowed there, right?
Yeah, on Front Beach Road.
On Front Beach Road.
Yeah, should we pass this ordinance as I recommend us?
Class 2, what's the speed limit on the Class 2 on the sidewalk?
He's saying not on the sidewalk, class 2, just class 1 on the
I
sidewalk.
mean, class 1.
If you pass this ordinance, every single e-bike will be limited to 10 miles an hour on the sidewalk,
What about?
regardless of the class.
What about cutting through Publix or Walmart at 50 miles an hour? Zigzagging through there.
We didn't put a speed limit on anything but sidewalks for e-bikes. So when we talk about micromobilities, we're really talking about the little electric scooters and the e-bikes. That's what we're looking at. And so there's
I think we're making a great first step, but I continue to see them cutting through these parking lots at super high speeds, and I didn't know if that was gonna be. That's illegal right now, probably, isn't it, Drew?
There's already laws on the books for that, for careless driving.
They're lucky the police officer wasn't there to.
If a police officer sees it, they can write them for either careless or reckless, depending on their actions in a parking lot if there's people present. So there's laws on the book that the PD could work with that.
I think that, I'm not against e-bikes, but I just think that eventually they're gonna be like mosquitoes. They're gonna be everywhere. You go to other cities and you see what's happening in big cities, and these scooters and e-bikes and electric tricycles or whatever you wanna call them are running around everywhere. So, yeah, I'm for us trying to put some kind of regulations to slow this down a little bit and at least make it safer, especially for the pedestrians that are walking on the sidewalks that have these e-bikes running up and down the sidewalk.
Mayor, would you?
30 mile an hour.
Changes one more time that you wanted to see?
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. The two changes I would recommend is, one, remove all Class 2 e-bikes, or disallow all Class 2 e-bikes. So that's the throttle, where you don't have to even pedal, from sidewalks adjacent to Front Beach Road. And then, should we want to keep the restriction on Class 1 e-bikes on sidewalks, which I'm kind of on the fence of, because some kids do ride those.
You have to pedal those.
Those you have to pedal. Should we want to keep that restriction on what is currently called the multimodal transit lanes, just say any bike lane greater than, let's just say, 8 feet?
So we're taking multimodal.
Yeah, we take multimodal and redefine it as basically a wide bike lane, where the multimodal lanes would satisfy it now, or if there was a potential reconfiguration of the multimodal lanes to be bike lanes, it would satisfy that in the future.
Can we rewrite this now and go ahead and have a first reading with those changes being made?
Yeah, I don't think those are material changes that would require us to do anything. I think if you vote on this as amended, it's fine.
Okay.
I don't think I need to do any surgery right now to make that work.
Yeah, I'm good with those changes. I think it's a smart move because we don't know what we're gonna do with those lanes, but I think it's important that we spent the money on the infrastructure, let's use them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's definitely use them in the meantime, but yeah, get 8 foot or wider, you're saying?
Yeah, I would say, Mr. Whitman, how wide are the small bike lanes
I
now?
believe that, I'd have to look at the state statute, but I think state statute says 4 foot.
Okay. So if we said something like, and I don't know, I don't want to pull up Mr. Adair here. Do you know the width of our bike lanes, Mr. Adair? The small ones, not the multimodal ones? Because we have bike lanes up and down Front Beach Road.
Those would be the 4 foot that the state.
Those are the 4 foot ones. So why don't we just say 6 foot?
Good.
I think that's, looking at it, that's, it's half a lane anyway, like half a car lane. And so would allow future councils or this council some leeway in readjusting those lanes. Okay, so the two items I recommend changing are, one, prohibit Class 2 e-bikes on any sidewalk adjacent to Front Beach Road, and then at that point, we would also prohibit Class 1 e-bikes on any sidewalk adjacent to Front Beach Road where there is a bike lane 6 foot wide or greater.
Perfect.
4 foot, you said.
So 4 foot are the small ones. So those 4 foot ones, we have those already up and down all Front Beach Road. So that would effectively prohibit the Class 1s from all Front Beach Road, which if we want to do that, we should just say it. But the Class 1s, kids ride them, some older folks ride them. forcing them to into those narrow 4-foot. That's why we would only prohibit him basically where the multimodal lanes are now.
I'll follow you.
Okay.
Is our police officers going to be able to identify the difference between class 1, 2, and 3 just riding by there, Chief? Or?
Well, I will just say that with emerging technology comes emergency or emerging obstacles in which enforcement is going to have to figure out how to do this. To your point, a class 2, somebody's just hitting the throttle like a motorcycle, and they see the bicycle going. That's an obvious sign. There's no markings on any of these bicycles that says 1, 2, 3. So that's the challenging component of it, right? The speed limit, if they're going over 10 miles an hour, that's going to be challenging because if we have to eyeball it or utilize a pacing mechanism, that's going to be a challenge. The locations in which they can be and cannot be from a, if there is a bike lane of this length, we're going to have to build out a map to try to educate. And none of these things are impossible to enforce. It will be challenging to enforce at first. We're going to have to provide some training to some officers. But the visual component or visual aspect of looking at this is a 1, 2, 3. If they're pedaling, they're either a 1 or a 3. If they're just throttling, we know it's going to be a 2, so we could make that identification. I would assume relatively easy, but every circumstance is going to be different. The distance of the officer is going to be from the bicycle. Are they moving? Understand if we make a stop, that is a Fourth Amendment issue. We are essentially detaining that individual. We need to make sure that the probable cause we establish to detain that individual is lawful. So it would be a case-by-case scenario.
I would recommend when we do our lobbying or potentially either pass a resolution later on, to have the state regulate identifying the 1, 2, and 3.
Color code them.
Yeah.
It's simple. I put a flag on them, different colors, and then,
I'm for it.
Some easy way.
Yeah. I think we should we should encourage the state to make if there are different regulations for 1, 2, and 3, y'all got to make it easier for us to identify those.
Or something on them to identify them what they are, where the officers could.
So state law currently requires that each different class be identified. The manufacturer has to indicate it, but there's no actual regulation on how big or what that's supposed to be. There's no uniformity in the identification, which I think is, to the chief's point and to everyone's point, the problem.
But there should be a permanent attached label to that bike.
There is that. I don't know how big or easy to identify.
Oh, you're not going to see it. I mean,
And that's that's where a lot of these circumstances will be secondary. If we're able to reach an enforcement component of this, it would be secondary in nature. We see this e-bike obviously going well in excess of 10 miles an hour, which we can articulate, the stop, we get to it, and we see that it is a class 2, 3, or even 1 operating in a place that it's not supposed to be. All of those actions would be enforceable at that point. But we just need to be able to establish probable cause for the stop in its initial capacity, that we can articulate in good faith that we knew that they were in violation of some type of law or ordinance.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Is everyone okay with the two proposed changes?
Yeah, I think they're good changes. Motion to approve as amended.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion to approve as amended. Councilman Castro, did you have further discussion? No. Okay. Motion to approve as amended. Ms. Fasoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am.
We are going to need some kind of educational materials and a process to let the guests know what our rules are,
Yes, we will.
not to mention the locals.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a lot of our workforce and probably trying to
Yeah.
write them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of workforce there. I think there's implications for Bayway later on. Anyway. Okay, we had moved regular agenda item number 5 to the front. You know what? I could use about a 10-minute break. You guys good on a 10-minute break?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to call this a recess. We'll be back at 10:40. we now move on to regular agenda item number 6, Resolution 26-143. Mr. Davis, or would we like someone else to read the
No, I'll take it.
title?
Resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with BGN Contractors for the retrofit and hardening of the Public Works Building located at 200 North Gulf Boulevard, in the total amount of $1,700,000, and authorizing the execution of qualifying change orders in a total amount not to exceed $170,000.
Okay. Any public comment on regular agenda item number 6, Resolution 26143? Seeing none. Mr. Adair. It's the John Adair Show today.
Yes, sir. John Adair, Public Works. I'll be really brief because you guys are fully aware of this one, but Resolution 25-118 approved in May of 25 authorized the grant funding. We have about $692,000 in grant from the Florida Department of Emergency Management. It's FEMA federal funds that are assisting with this. It is a reconstruction of the south end of the building at 200 North Gulf Boulevard. We went out to bid. 10 firms obtained the RFP. We did receive 3 proposals. 2 were deemed responsive. This one was a little bit different. We went with an RFP process where we looked at we evaluated proposals based upon the qualifications of the contractor and also based on the price. So the price was kept silent. We evaluated the proposals, came back and ranked them. BGN Contractors came in number 1 as on our quality review, and they also came in at the lowest price. It's for $1.7 million. The original budget we had set aside for this project was $2 million, so it did come in under budget. And the total construction time is 300 days, which will put us about at the end of May, beginning of April, when we finish up.
Are you 2-story in that building, or are you
No,
just
sir.
keeping it 1 floor?
1 floor, yes, sir.
And it's just retrofitting the existing building, so where are you going? You gonna have a portable mobile home or something there?
No, we've done some shuffling in the last month or so to move assets and everybody around to try to find a new home during the construction time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. So this is storm hardening so that if the storm comes in.
Yes, sir. This would be so we can stay local and have an immediate impact right after the storm. It's rated for a Category 5 hurricane or an F4 tornado. So this would be the facility in which the essential personnel of Public Works would be set up. It does have an operations center as part of it. It's got 5 offices, a break room. So this would be our primary facility to ride out the storm.
Mr. Adair, in short term, how many people can you put in there? Maybe you already covered that.
So there's, in the short term, or you mean?
So to ride out a storm, how many people can you house in this facility safely?
40.
40 employees, wow.
40
That's what
employees?
40 people for the grant we put in for. It was 40 employees short term. It's not a long-term solution. It's during the impact of the storm.
And then they can get right back to
They go
work
right
after
back
the
to work.
impacts of the storm. So that's a big deal to be able to have that response readiness right afterwards. So it's great, 40 people, excellent.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adair. Any commentary from the council?
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Mazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Tuttleman?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to regular agenda item number 7, Resolution 26-144. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with CP2 Consulting, Inc. for comprehensive strategic planning services for the city and authorizing expenditures under the agreement in the amount of $34,500 plus travel expenses billed at actual cost.
Okay, any public comment on this item? Any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Mr. Whitman or Ms. White?
Let
would you
Ms.
like to
White
take
handle
this
the
one?
next 2, please. She worked on both
Next
of them.
2, all right.
Okay, so as you may know, we currently have a strategic plan that was approved back in August of 2020 for fiscal years 21 through 26. So that plan has reached the end of its life. So the proposal before you today is to hire a facilitator to come in here and assist with developing the next strategic plan. So staff interviewed several firms that have local government experience, and we're recommending CP2 Consulting. And Corey Plash is the primary project manager for that firm. She has a local government background, came up through, actually a 911 dispatch center is how she started her career. So she's come up through local government. She's familiar with local government, familiar with transient populations. We liked her approach. We thought the council and the community would relate well to her. And so her proposal's in the packet that you can look at. The timeline would be pushed back a little bit because if you look at in there, you see we start prior to this meeting, which obviously doesn't happen. But we would envision probably starting the process in August. I think the key thing for all of you is that the actual strategic planning itself wouldn't happen until post-election, because we know with Councilman Casto being term limited out, you're going to have someone new on your board, and you want the whole council bought into the process. But we would start some of the surveying things ahead of time and be ramped up and ready to go after the first of the year, should you decide to move forward with this.
Okay. Yeah, so there would be some surveys, there'd be a heavy amount or decent amount of resident and other stakeholder participation. It's great, glad to get this going.
Yeah, I think it's great. The resident participation would be great. It'll be a working document for the city and councils to understand where we're going in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the things we liked the most about her approach was she doesn't just leave us after we get the strategic plan developed. She will help with implementation. So it does become more of a living document that you actually work with instead of being something that just gets done and put on the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my goal, is that we live with it, we work with it. And I think the one we have now is put on the shelf. So, yeah, it'd be great.
Also, I think it would be important, it has the board development and visioning session as being optional. And I think it's very important that the council go through that process as well. So I'd like that not to be an optional. And it is factored into the contract price.
Okay.
Great idea.
Like to elect for that option? That's good. All right.
Good.
We good?
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Now move on to resolution, our regular agenda item number 8, resolution 26-145. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, honoring America's 250th anniversary by providing free spectator access for Bay County residents to the Russell Field City Pier during August and September 2026.
Okay. Any public comment on this item?
Yes, one more. Alfredo Martin, 13407 Oleander Drive. I have a suggestion. Great idea, but August is still busy. So my suggestion is either you do August, September, and October, or do September and October, because as you know, September, October are the most beautiful days and less traffic. August is still a lot of traffic. That's all I want to say. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Any?
Yes. Linda Gerstner at 305 Benicia. 2 questions. Why wouldn't we do both piers versus just one? And why can't we do it from now until the end of the year? I mean, why just 2 months? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gerstner.
Molly Allen, I just ask that whatever your decision is, that you please contact the military public affairs office and let them know, because I think that the base would promote it, and I think it would be a great thing for our service members to know that they're included in our community.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Okay, further public comment? All right, seeing none. I think I could speak to both piers because the other pier isn't ours. So we can encourage Bay County to do the same. This resolution is not just for the city of Panama City Beach. It includes all residents of Bay County. We are Bay County's beach. So that gets them on ours. So I would highly encourage, should we pass this, Bay County to do the same. In terms of just 2 months, 3 months, which months, the initial proposal was all year. And at least I was persuaded that whenever you do something, it's nice to have a little trial period first, because you don't know what ill effects are going to happen. You don't know if it's going to be, a challenge for the staff. You don't know. So I'm more than happy to consider later on after we get these two through. But I want to, personally, I want to see, and that was kind of some of the discussion of the council when we talked about this before. Like I said, the initial proposal was all year to celebrate America's 250. Let's dip our toe in, get these next 2 months, see how it goes, and then we can reconsider it.
Sure, I'm fine with that. Yeah, absolutely.
I personally like what Mr. Martin suggested about September and October, just because I know how chaotic it is down there, being inside the ticket booth over the years during the summer months, which August is still part of the summer. I mean, it's just, they're wide open trying to take money and identify fishermen from spectators, and it's going to be more local people in the September and October than it is in August. I like Mr. Martin's suggestion of September.
Well, August, school is still out.
And school.
August, school's still out. And so
August school is still out, but they can go on the weekends, so.
I mean, do you want to move it to October as well? Is that a month?
I would just say, just move it to September and October. It's cooler, it's prettier weather, and more people are probably, local people are going to be more prone to go out there than they are in August. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
I think you had a good suggestion with that.
Thoughts from the council?
Well, I see that September might be a good month, but I'm not opposed to August either. I think you bring up a good point that families can take their kids out during the week, maybe when the crowds are less. So
Yeah, I mean,
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
especially since this is for all Bay County, I would love to encourage families from Bay County to come down to PCB to enjoy Pier Park, to enjoy these facilities. So my suggestion, I think it's a point well taken. I would happy to consider later on after pushing it.
Go with this this year and see what happens, I guess, September and October.
Yeah, so go with this, which is August, September, and then.
August, September, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to that. We'll try it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
second.
also reach out to Bay County Commissioners. I also serve on the Military Affairs Committee, so it's a great thing. I'll reach out to the public, their affairs as well, so we'll do that. So we have a motion and a second for just August and September. I will remind you guys, I mean, August, I'm in the tourism business or whatever. October's often as busy as August. We have fall breaks. We're a heavy fall break destination. And we do have a bunch of families that patronize our area for Columbus Day. It's a big time of year for us. We do big parades and everything like that as well. So maybe August and September are the better 2 months right now for locals to be able to enjoy. From a occupancy standpoint, oftentimes October is a higher occupancy month than August turns out to be.
Okay.
School generally starts back early August, so the latter half of the month, the kids are in school. I think schools start here August 10th.
Okay, so I didn't hear the second. We have a motion.
I seconded
You
it.
seconded it? Okay.
Second, yeah.
So we have a motion and a second to approve without amendment. Is that correct? Okay. Motion and a second to approve without amendment, or just to approve. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am.
One other thing, Mayor,
Sure,
before we move
yeah.
on to the next item. If this goes really well in August or September, and we want to come back and say August is good, and we don't have a cumbersome process, could we add October relatively easily? Is that something we could do quickly?
Whatever the dais wants.
Okay.
It's your pier.
fantastic. So we'll just keep it open. If it's something that our residents are really enjoying in Bay County, we're doing this kind of, it was your idea originally to kind of have it to celebrate America's 250th. So, I mean, October is a beautiful month and used to be known as the locals month, but now we have a lot of people that patronize our area during that time. So, but the water's the most beautiful in
Yeah,
October.
we can look at it and see how it's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're gonna have to differentiate between the locals and the tourists and the fishermen and the spectators, because this is just spectators, not fishermen.
Just spectators.
Yeah, just spectators.
Yes, sir.
And we should encourage our county commissioners to do the same. Hopefully we can do that, so.
Yeah, just spectators, and if you look at the second part of the packet, it's going to be by zip code.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
you know, they're not gonna, they'll just look at your zip code, so.
Perfect.
All right, great. Moving on, last item, discussion item. Roundabout gateway feature. Councilman Register, this is yours. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'm kind of eating my own words here because I made fun of that little magnolia tree that we had out there early on, and then I didn't realize that. So after I started doing research about the roundabout feature and we looked into potentially doing a fountain and some other things, I started researching this and also talked to our partners over at the TDC, where I serve and tried to get some appetite for that. But after researching this, I realized that we may need to pump the brakes a little bit on the fountain idea. Clearwater did this back in 1999, guys, and they put $2.1 million into a fountain that was part of a larger anchoring gateway to the city project, $13 million project that they were going to do back then. Well, they took it out 3 years later because they had multiple wrecks, car wash effect where spray was coming off these fountains onto cars, line of sight issues, being able to see across there. And I've drove that roundabout, and it is important to be able to see who's coming into that lane at certain times. So I think if we create a city-owned asset that becomes a maintenance nightmare, it could end up causing a lot of significant damage to pedestrians that want to come over and take a picture and you can't see, or we had this wonderful light show, and the idea of it was really, really, I thought, was paved with really good intentions, and I think we had some good ideas there, and I want to thank Mr. Ray, who has really thought this through and thought it was a fantastic idea, and I thought it was a fantastic idea originally until I started really researching it and looking into it. Sunny Hills also had a fountain and a roundabout. They had tons and tons of people. I actually reached out to people in Clearwater. Unfortunately, none of them that are on the council now or back then, but they do remember it, and it's a similar heavily used traffic corridor. So my recommendation to the council is let's pump the brakes on this for a little bit, maybe look at some landscaping, maybe low-level landscaping that doesn't affect line of sight and maybe won't cause pedestrians to want to cross that and go get a picture opportunity. And if we really want a fountain, I think there's some great opportunities to be able to do that at places in our city, whether it be our parks or whether it be right here in front of the police department. We've got maybe an area out there that could potentially be used for a fountain where people could come and park and take a picture and visit the TDC building, do some things like that. I think there's opportunities there, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of eating my own words because I thought this fountain idea was a really good idea until I looked into it and kind of did some more research. So I don't want to throw good money after bad, and I'd like us to kind of take a step back on this and maybe eventually get the residents involved and maybe the arts community. I know Mr. Martin here is heavily involved in the arts community, and maybe we could do something that's lower level, that's still iconic to the city, but also not something that's going to be necessarily a picture opportunity and something that so many tourists travel.
I agree, we probably didn't think it through, because the last thing I want is a bunch of families, thousands of them going out there taking pictures crossing that road to get in front of something that says Panama City Beach with the fountain in the background and your line of sight. Make a good point, but I do know if we're going to do landscaping, we ought to go ahead and hire a landscape architect. And I'm not saying pay him $250,000. I'm saying somebody that's retired, that instead of just doing it in staff. I had one-on-ones with City Manager Drew Whitman the other day, and he suggested that we could do some landscaping in staff, and I think that's great, but I think they have to have some direction from some expert, what type of plants and height, and, if you want to put a big Canary Island palm as your focal point, or you're going to do sable palms or oleanders, and we could plant them, but we just need somebody.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think
professional to draw up some plans so we know what to plant and where to plant.
I think you could do it seasonally. I mean, we got really distinct seasons here. You can put beautiful flowers seasonally out there. I mean, a lot of your golf courses and more beautiful destinations and driveways and entrances. Put you a big beautiful flagpole. I don't know. I mean, a big beautiful. City of Panama City Beach flag there.
There's not too many landscape architects around. You got the authority to spend up to $25,000. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You could pick one and let him give our staff a set of plans to us to do it in-house, but I just don't think we ought to send our folks down there that are not professionals, and it ends up not looking like something we want it to look like.
No, I
We
think
want
it's
it to be a focal point and something nice, and I think you need a professional design in it. We can plant it and water it and do all that, fertilize it, but what type and whether it's gonna survive, or what height and all that stuff, I think that needs to be professional, so I'd like to let Drew pick one and not exceed his spending authority, just to give us a set of plans and get this done.
Sure.
We've been talking about it for a year now.
Yeah, I
I'll make a
mean,
motion that we let Drew pick a landscape architect, not to exceed his spending authority, and, let our in-house staff do it.
okay, we got a motion. I wanted to, I certainly want to just get something done there. I would say my two recommendations would be to just do a set of 4 flags, or to do a statue that's not going to necessarily draw, right? And if I were to do a statue, I'd just do a statue of St. Andrew, who is the namesake of Bay County. It's also the patron saint of fishermen, and also kind of connects to our local Christian heritage. So just put a statue there, wouldn't be line of sight, and then some flags. That would be my recommendation, but, you know, honestly, I'm at the point where whatever the council wants, let's just get it done.
I mean, ultimately, mine's about safety and security of people being able to travel that, and you need to be able to see across that to tell if somebody's coming into that, especially the way people, I mean, you're
And
coming.
even if there's a statue out, I'm not saying we shouldn't do that, that could come later, but somebody's gonna be curious of what that statue is, and they're gonna run out there and wanna see what it is.
So why don't we do flags and landscaping?
Well, let the landscape architect decide whether, you know, what type of flags, the height, and I'm not against flags, I'm just saying, let that be part of it, you know? Where to put them.
I definitely think you need a landscape architect. I think it needs to be done well. I mean, how nice would it have been if we had a nice flower bed there with flowers that represent an American flag for America's 250 during the summer? And it's welcoming and seasonally rotated. It's not something that's overly expensive. It is an annual cost, but I think it's something that can be maintained. But I think a landscape architect knows better than I do.
Absolutely.
I'm not a professional, but definitely, I like the idea of flags, and then
And I
maybe.
think the flags would complement the landscaping,
I
and
agree.
landscaping the flags as well.
But you need to know what height and what flags and where to put them and all that stuff, yeah.
I agree.
My recommendation would be 4 flags. U.S. flag, Florida flag, city flag, and then a rotating seasonal flag.
Say your flags again.
U.S., Florida, city, rotating seasonal. Right?
4 flags, unless he comes back with
Yeah.
something different.
4 flags, and then do some landscaping. There you go.
And a set of plans that our people know what to put in the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
I want the flags to be lit, though, so we don't have the maintenance of taking them up and down all the
Yeah.
time. So they
Yeah.
always need to be always lit.
You have to have a light out there on them, which we got power out there now, I think, or we have conduit. out
We have
there.
power and water out there.
Okay.
And I'd like to see the landscape plan as well before it's implemented.
Okay.
We could vote on it.
So we had a, Councilman Casso, you had a motion. Do you want to add the flags to that motion, or do you want to, how do you want to do this?
I'm okay with adding the flags if the landscape architect thinks that he can incorporate them to make it look like something we want it to look like, which I think he probably could, yeah.
You want to drop the former motion and do a new one?
Yeah, I'll restate my motion, a motion to get the city manager to use his spending authority up to $25,000 to hire a landscape architect to design landscaping plants to include some flags, the 4 flags the mayor stated.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Mayor Turner.
Yes, ma'am. All right, and that is it. We now move on to city manager report.
You notice I had a young lady move up next to our attorney. This is Amelia. She's been our intern for the last probably 3 to 4 weeks. I just want to thank her for her service and her dedication to our city, and she's going back to UAG.
All right, yeah, thank you, Amelia. All right, good job. Okay.
UGA.
Did you steal the city attorney's report?
Oh, he absolutely did, yeah. Oh, I mean, come on. It's UGA, not UAG.
You did that for me. I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
Holly and I
I do have one
He
thing.
stuck us with that one.
A city attorney report, okay, let's,
In addition to Amelia, we have also had a second intern, Ms. Lorelei, who also interned with us. Both of them did great work for us and for the city. We want to thank them for their service and wish them great summers and school years ahead.
all right, thank you, Amelia and Lorelei. We now move on to council comments. Councilman Casto, nothing. Councilmember Coburn.
Nothing today.
All right, I would like to remind everyone, one, of the updated council the pending city, the budget meeting, and then the next council meeting, which is on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday. There's concerts in the park tonight, and then at City Hall, there is a mural that we're also doing for America's 250, so you can help come out to City Hall in our lobby and paint that, and that is available 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. from July 21st to the 23rd. So today's the last day. We're having that for this iteration. I think we'll probably finish the mural no matter what somehow. It'll be other places. So come today in the next hour. I guess if you're watching this live, quick, drive down to City Hall and finish the mural, or look at it at other locations around the city. And I know Parks and Rec have been doing a great job with that mural. And just follow them on Facebook, and they'll keep you up to date. With that, that's it. I will see you all in a couple weeks. This meeting's adjourned.